Okay, Michelle, whenever you're ready.
All set. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend and welcome to our AMCC weekly call. As requested, we asked if you can please put your name and affiliation in the chat. And today we are in for an exciting roundtable discussion. So I will pass it to our Executive Director, Matt Bogosian, for some updates. Matt, the floor is yours.
Great. Thanks, Michelle, and good morning, everyone. I am Matt Bogosian, Executive Director of AMCC, and you are on AMCC's Monday National 30-minute call of manufacturing community stakeholders from regions around the country. Sometimes we have, we often, every week, we have what we call BFFs from public, private, nonprofit sectors. If you're new, you know this, you should know that this is a free open source collaborative. We're partners with the federal government, Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration as the nation's manufacturing community of practice. So as David mentioned, David Van Sicklen is our operations director, and encouraging folks to put your name and affiliation in chat and engage here, separately or with someone you meet here. As Michelle indicated, Michelle Burris from the Century Foundation, one of our longtime partners, she mentioned this is a roundtable call. So we have two flavors of calls. We have presentation calls where somebody comes on from one of you, or somebody from the manufacturing ecosystem of support in a region to talk about what's happening in their region, or a BFF around the federal program, or private sector activity will come on in a presentation, or we'll have roundtable calls, and this is a roundtable week. Manufacturing is the cornerstone of the democratic capitalism, as Ben Franklin said. We have a republic if we can keep it, and we got a lot of work to do, which means we need to build our muscles, our collective impact muscles, working together bottom up. And so it's great if you're on these calls to learn. That's awesome, but we want you to engage. There's a lot of good stuff. Like last week, we had Project Equity talking about succession planning. That's something we can talk about more today. Super important, right? 250,000 manufacturers in the country, and most of them are owned by older people. And so, employee ownership is an important option to consider in every week. And so we bring these presentation ideas. They come from a lot of sources, from you all, from our advisory board. We have a great advisory board of regional leaders who have been, honchoing this work really for a decade. These calls have been going on for a decade. It's awesome. Shout out Debbie Franklin in Kansas, Christine Napo in Illinois, to Linda Larson in Utah, Carmen Molina Rios in Connecticut, Kelly Swords in the state of Washington. All these regional leaders are on our AMCC advisory board. They do extra volunteering every week with some of our senior advisors, Phil Singerman, Matt Fieldman, Michelle Burris, you see here, Nikhil Calafil, and with our partners at the Northeast Midwest Institute, Michael Goff. Lots of work is going on, but it all depends on your engagement. And we have a lot of newer people on here, and this is a roundtable call. So I was thinking it might be cool if you're relatively newer to these calls to jump in and quickly introduce yourself. Take 30 seconds. I put this in the AMCC update. Oh, I should have said the AMCC update really goes hand in hand with this 30-minute call. So this group is earnest, humble, determined to strengthen manufacturing across the country, and we want to add value to your work and see how your experience informs the kind of bottom-up progress others are working on around the country. So, like I've said many times before, it's okay to lurk on these calls. You don't have to be here every week. Heck, it's free, short, 30 minutes, but we want you to be on as much as you can, not just to connect, which is a good first step, but to engage and share. So if you're newer to these calls, raise your hand here right now. Take 30 seconds to make it short. Take 30 seconds to introduce yourself and what you do. If you have, if you have more to share after your quick intro, drop that info into the chat. You can see the chat is a really useful tool. If you can't be on video, that's okay. Raise your hand, introduce yourself on audio. I know I have bad hair days or whatever. I'm in the car. Totally get that. So let's see. Is anyone raising their hand? Doug, Merrill,
Sure.
welcome.
Happy to kick this off. So I just started joining these calls about 2 weeks ago. They've been really productive. I really like the Monday morning briefing. And I work for the University of Vermont. I'm the Regional Innovation Officer. And my first project with the university is leading the Vermont Gallium Nitride Tech Hub. We are a federally designated EDA Tech Hub and consortium with UVM, Global Foundries, and the state of Vermont.
Great. Well, Doug, delighted that you're part of these calls. Thanks so much, and looking forward to getting to know you. And we're happy to, for example, Doug, we can set up a short chat, David, you and I, and your folks in the Tech Hub. That's often an efficient next step, so we can kind of understand what's happening in your regional ecosystem and see how we can help you all, strengthen the work and extend the work and succeed in the work. So just send David and I a note if you want to do that. We super encourage that. Thanks.
I will follow
Doug.
up. Thanks.
Carrie, welcome in Oregon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Carrie Weigel-Delaplane, and I work for the State of Oregon Higher Education Coordinating Commission. I'm part of a group that is called Future Ready Oregon, which is a comprehensive investment package in workforce development targeted really focusing on priority populations who have not been typically included in high wage, high demand careers. And so I'm the manufacturing consortium strategist. Nice to meet everyone. Yeah,
nice to meet you too, Carrie. Same goes for you and everyone. If you want, if it's important to have a longer conversation, David and I are happy to set up a short call with you on that. So welcome, Carrie from Oregon. Gretchen, welcome.
Hi there. Good morning. I'm Gretchen Moore, and I'm Executive Director of the Women in Manufacturing Education Foundation. And we provide leadership development and training around core competencies for women, helping to support them at the various stages of their career. We also host a biannual virtual career fair for companies who are looking to hire women into their manufacturing workforce. And I've been joining the calls off and on for a couple of weeks, but have freed up my Monday schedules now, and so should be seeing you each week moving forward. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and grateful to have you. I mean, what a huge opportunity to get more women into manufacturing. It's looking forward to some separate conversations with you, Gretchen, about how we do that farther and faster around the country.
That's great.
Great. J Jones yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeanette Jones with the Greater Memphis Chamber. Matt, it's good to see you again.
Oh yeah, I didn't recognize the title there. Hi, Jeanette. Good to see you too.
Good to see you guys. I'm the Director of Existing Business here at the Chamber. Ultimately, my role is to make sure companies have what they need to stay and grow in Memphis, and it has been heavily focused on the manufacturing side. A lot of this has come back to workforce, so I'm excited to be on these calls. I try to join as much as I can. If not, I'm going back looking at the videos. They are really, really helpful, so I'm so glad that you guys record these calls. So nice to meet everyone.
Yeah, good to see you, Jeanette, and thanks for being on. Looking forward to getting to Memphis too. That'll be good on an AMCC roadshow. Kersey.
Hi, good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kersey Manlick. I've been joining these calls for about a year now. I work out of EPA headquarters, and I'm part of the team that's working on low embodied carbon for building and construction materials. So these meetings have really been interesting and informative for me. I'm also doing part-time in our Office of Water. So if there's anything that you think is related to either of those two topics, please do not hesitate to reach out. And always looking forward to meeting folks virtually and in person. So thanks, Matt. See you and the team for organizing this.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kirsty. That's a perfect example of a BFF, right? You know, it's like we have all of these federal agencies and they're all in silos, right? And so, you know, we're one kind of a mechanism to bring them together, put them in the hands of regional leaders so that they can weave them into kind of a regionally relevant cocktail of interventions that produce sustainable development outcomes. And you know, we put out this thing around sustainable development, what we ought to be shooting for. More on that in a little bit. But I see, is it Darani?
Dennery.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi, Dennery Kane. I'm the Economic Development District Coordinator for the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. We're in the Lake Michigan corner of Indiana. Heavy manufacturing, steel mills, what have you. And this is only my second time joining this community of practice, but I got, I guess, informed about it because we're hosting an Economic Recovery Corps Fellow. And this was one of the, I guess, outreach organizations. So I felt this might be helpful for me to just kind of get in tune with what's going on. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you. This is exactly what we hope would happen. So it's awesome. You know, we do these things called AMCC roadshows. We talked about it in the AMCC update that's out there. It's also on our website. And so we are thinking about having a visit, not in the not too distant future, to Indiana. So if you could send David and I a note, or one of us, or whatever, and we can have a separate conversation about what that means, and you know, we can go into more detail about what we call co-created AMCC roadshow visits. It's really to help you do your work and weave in these Economic Recovery Corps fellows. So as most of you probably know, the Department of Commerce, EDA, got some money through the American Rescue Plan, ARPA, and was able to fund 65, I believe it's 65 Economic Recovery Corps fellows to be placed in different spots around the country. Kind of a baby step to what I think we've talked about in many ways. What we need across the country is, you know, some sort of really highly incentivized national service, right, where young people are finding common experience and strengthening the American project. But I could go on. But I see Eric. Eric candidates. Oh yeah, Eric. We met this last week. Hi, Eric.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, Matt, at Argonne last week. Thank you very much. My name is Eric Canada. I am part of the Synchronous Lab. We are in northeast Illinois in the Chicago region, but essentially we're a national nonprofit. We're new to the game, and we focus on setting up networks of manufacturers who are then able to work from the bottom up, as opposed to a top-down type program where you offer a program and let people come to you. You know, we basically work with the manufacturers and get them engaged from the floor up. Thank you, Matt.
Great. Thank you, Eric, and welcome. Welcome. Hannah.
Hi, it's so great to see you, Matt. My name is Hannah. My company is called Itty Bit Better, and our slogan is, if you make buildings better, we make you an itty bit better. And I started joining these calls several weeks ago because we are recently in a project called Green Leap. And so we're trying to make a roadmap for manufacturing facilities in a very specific location, but it's the Inland Empire in Southern California because that's where we're located. So these calls have been great to learn more about the manufacturing industry, to learn more about all of these resources. So usually I'm on the call with a partner of mine, Andrew, from Idea Driver, who's also part of the Green Leap project. But it's so nice to meet everyone and get all of these resources into our list and stuff because it has been very valuable. So thank you for letting all of us in.
Yeah, for sure, Hannah. It's going to take a lot of teamwork to strengthen the American project, right? So we need all public, private, nonprofit partners to be on the same page, and this is part of our journey. Manufacturing is not everything, but it's the cornerstone of the American project, and we have overwhelming evidence that that's the case. And we have to strengthen our muscles. So that is awesome. So what I do, so if you want to chime in, just raise your hand. I'm going to go through a couple of highlights in the AMCC update that we want to for sure. And if you want to talk about one of these, like, as we're going, whatever, raise your hand on that too. But there's some important items in there, like we do every week. We highlight, things that are really going to matter, and we got to stay on the cutting edge. And we hope you get this info out to your network, right? And share the AMCC update and get other people to sign up. Heck, it's free, just like these calls. It's like a no-brainer. So the Department of Energy has these 48C tax credits, $6 billion. $4 billion is already out there. $6 billion is getting out there now. It's available. Okay, so David's going to drop some of the links along the way as I talk about some of these AMCC updates, or if you have the update, you can follow along or whatever. So that's a biggie. And the DOL Good Clean Energy Jobs Map, that's also super. So like you're in a region and you're saying, oh, what's happening in my region? You can go to this DOL interactive map and you can check out clean energy projects being built or planned, right? So this is, so it's not, these are not for sure things, but check it out, get this info out to your stakeholders, because there could be some good, like I said in the update, some money-making opportunities around those. So that's a good one. And then as you heard, I was in Argonne National Laboratories. I actually had 2 experiences last week that are super important to this network. As you know, or most of you know, and I think we have Don Ufford. I want to say call out to Don Ufford. Thanks at NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, for inviting me to the 10-year anniversary of these Manufacturing USA Institutes. And this has been a 10-year effort that is really just warming up, and we need a lot of teamwork to make the most of these great federal investments from our public tax dollars. And that's on getting key technologies embedded in our manufacturing facilities and operations in our regions around the country. They're all dedicated toward a different type of technology. The first one was around 3D printing, additive manufacturing. We've got others around robotics. And there's going to be 2 new institutes, and just today the notice of funding opportunity for one of those 2 new institutes, I understand, was just released, the one for digital twins and semiconductors. So Don, did you want to say a quick word about that new news?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, would be really excited for everybody to take a look at the announcement that David just dropped in. There's a link there. And as we look at these, as many of you know, when these announcements come out, we're really looking for teams to partner up and develop proposals and submit the proposals per the notice of funding opportunity that's out there. And they'll be evaluated then by the federal team later this year. I think as you get on here, you'll see that there's an opportunity here and or in the notice of intent to submit your name as a partnering opportunity if you want. So thank you very much for putting that out there. And we hope we get a lot of great proposals.
And it depends, like the timeline, right? Depends on what happens next. The proposals, I should say, Don, depend on the timeline, right? Can you say a little bit about that? What's the expected timeline for determinations once proposals are in and all of that? Yeah.
I don't have that with me right now,
Okay.
but I could probably share that a little bit later at the
Sure.
appropriate point. There will be more detail offered up at Proposers Day, so click onto the link, make sure you take a look at that, and that'd really be the right place to go to make sure we get everybody with the same information at the same time.
Great. As always, Don, thanks for your teamwork. And it was a fabulous meeting. So it was last Tuesday and Wednesday, this 10-year anniversary of all 17 existing Manufacturing USA institutes. And yeah, if you just Google Manufacturing USA and you're going to see a list of all those 17. Their charter is to help get these technologies out to every region in the country. So check it out. And if your manufacturers in your region, can benefit by the good work of these public-private partnership institutes, let us know, let them know, etc. Let's make it happen. So that is a big thread of work going on. There's key agencies. I don't know, Don, how many federal agencies? I mean, the key ones are DoD, Department of Defense, Department of Energy, Department of Commerce. But then there's all these other agencies that are helping. For example, at the meeting was the National Science Foundation. They have the Engines program. What other key agencies would you say are involved in the institutes?
Yeah, you're right, Matt. We have a number of other agencies that participate with us, everything from the workforce development side of the Manufacturing USA Institute. So the institutes, they develop technology and are de-risking that into private industry, and they also help develop curriculum for workforce development. So Department of Labor, Department of Ed are very involved on that side. We also have USDA involved with us. State Department is also involved. And we also have some of the other agencies that, of course, the sponsoring agencies of DoD, DOE, and DOC, but then some of the subgroups within them will be involved with us also as we help build out one, the technology, and two, then the opportunity to share it. So at the meeting, we also had the Small Business Administration because they wanted to share opportunities where technology, as it's developed and it's being transferred out to private industry, there's funding that's needed. So they shared some of their information, as did the Economic Development Administration, who's on today and who has put together some great funding opportunities out there also for manufacturing. So I think it's a real great collaborative effort across the federal government, along with our state and local partners that often get involved in some of the partnerships and working with the Manufacturing USA Institutes.
Thanks, Don. Yeah, and for historic reasons, right? All of our siloed federal agencies, are not really well integrated, and so this is an example of an integration effort that's super important, but needs all of you to help extend its work. Jeff Edwards in Utah, I see your hand up. How you doing?
Morning, Matt. Great to be on with everybody. I just wanted to briefly mention that we are hosting a meeting here tomorrow and Wednesday on alternative uses of coal. This has been a longstanding interest of ours, and we're convening a group with NETO, Oak Ridge, the Idaho National Lab, and about 24 companies and other research entities to try to carry this forward and to try to come up with some recommendations to federal agencies about where the new research directions might be and new efforts might be to try to coordinate our efforts. So there's a lot of very novel things that could be done with coal besides burning it for electricity. And so we're trying to bolster some of the coal economies out here in the West and in the Appalachia to try to find new ways to use it. And it's a really pretty exciting thing. So I know there are others on this call that live in coal communities. We're going to try to put this work together and put it together in some kind of a publishable form. But if you're interested, please reach out to me on the chat, or David's got my contact information. Be happy to hear from you.
That's awesome, Jeff. Longtime AMCC leader, going back a decade. Jeff Edwards in Utah. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, and I wanted to say we have a few minutes left about some of the other activities. Another one that I went to, came back from DC and went to Chicago. Our friends at Argonne National Laboratory have gotten into economic development. It's great. So we have a relationship with their economic resilience group at Argonne National Labs, and they had a meetup last week. Super important. Some of our AMCC BFFs were there, including Joe Mariani from Deloitte, because they got so much capacity at Argonne, technical capacity. We're talking with them. They have a economic development capacity index and some other tools. We've been talking with a lot of you here about building kind of a self-assessment tool for regional leaders to do a gap analysis about the strengths and weaknesses of their manufacturing ecosystem in their geographic region. And so we're excited about co-creating that open source tool and playbook, and we have information about that on our website. We have calls every other week with our BFFs at NIST and Department of Defense and Department of Energy, Department of Labor, and others. And so we got to talk about that for 2 days at Argonne National Laboratories. Super exciting federal investment in economic development and getting, so that our interventions are smarter, right? So that there's a stronger correlation. If we do these 10 things in our region, we're going to get better jobs that include DEIA, environmental sustainability, and national security, strengthening different priority manufacturing sectors. So very exciting steps there. And as you see in the AMCC update, oh my gosh, so we're meeting people there. One of our new BFFs, Engine, the New Growth Innovation Network, they have this one person. I don't know if she's on the call, Betsy Sukanik. She puts together this list of regional economic data tools. It reads to me mostly around DEIA, which is great. And can feed into our metrics work. But anyway, I wanted to share that. We put that in the update, and David's dropping that in there. And of course, a lot of good articles and information. There's the podcast, Manufacturing in American Century. Excited about elevating that and hearing the regional triangle story. That's the one that's the latest one up. It's like, how do you strengthen your region for the long term? Well, North Carolina's Regional Triangle has done that. And you can hear the CEO of RTI International, Tim Gable, and Sarah Lawrence, who honchos their Build Back Better Regional Challenge Community of Practice, talking about that on the podcast. We have AMCC road shows happening, lots of federal opportunities that thanks to David Van Stickland for keeping that updated with all of your input. Your input is so crucial for the stuff that we put in the AMCC update and what we tee up in these calls. So please keep it coming. Didn't leave much room here at the end, but let me turn it back to you, Michelle. Yeah.
All good. Well, with that, everyone, we are right at time and excited to welcome the new members to our AMCC community. Great to have you here. And with that, everyone, we wish you a wonderful weekend. We will meet you back here at the same time on next Monday. Thank you so much and have a great week.